to another episode of The Mind of Reese. I don't know if you're watching on the YouTubes or kind of see my sad panda puppy in the background. Poor baby. He, just had some surgery, and so he's not feeling too good. But, look at him. He's just going to lay down and hopefully tuck her out. Anywho, today we're going to do a little something different. Something I actually get asked a lot, and I figured, why not just do a podcast episode on it so I can kind of dive deeper into my routines. I am I happen to be a very disciplined person, and so that is something that is one of my special gifts. It's definitely something that I've learned over the years, and it's not something you can't learn. It's not something you're born with. It's just something that I'm I'm just devoted to, the trifecta. I'm devoted to my mind, my body, and my spirit. So I always look at everything that I'm doing and from a lens of business, because I love business. As you know, if you've been listening to this podcast for some time, I love business. And it took me a long time to truly have the type of self-care and self-love routines that I have until I started looking at it through this lens, because before it was well, it doesn't matter, the first things to go whenever my routines are, they fall short or I'm running late or something of this nature, the first thing that used to go was my meditation, my exercise, my nightly rituals, things like this. And so often what I ended up doing was that I would be sporadic in the things I told myself I would do. And then what ends up happening is that I either get mad at myself or berate myself for negative self-talk when it comes to missing a day or not being able to quit a habit. I used to smoke a lot of weed back in the day, and I remember the time when I tried quitting and I was just and I always had a reason why to come back to it. And this is actually a lot of things that even in my one-on-one inner circles that I really help facilitate a lot. This is where accountability really comes in for my inner circle artists, is that when they want to get structured and have a strategy, they do have to have some discipline around what it is they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And I help them facilitate that, and I help them stay on track. So this is also something else that just happens to happen during my really close-knit tight containers, is because a lot of times when we're asking for change, especially inwardly, we have to have some sort of practice, right? Every day is a practice, so we have to have some sort of practice to do it. And there has to be a big reason why we're doing it in order for us to continue doing the thing, right? For me, it was exercise was probably the one thing that I was the most disciplined at. I was always very disciplined with exercise. Before it was an avoidance of pain, and now it's moving toward pleasure. So for a very long time, I had a lot of body image issues, and always thinking that I wasn't, good enough or skinny enough or something outlandish. And I look at myself now and I just want to love on the inner child Reese, who spoke so nasty and meanly to the body that I have today. And so it's just really interesting because, in avoidance of pain, I would work out 7 days a week, maybe sometimes twice a day, to make sure that I felt like I looked a certain way. And at the beginning of my journey, especially when I was 18, 19, and 20, that went with a lot of drug abuse. That also was a lot of eating, not eating. And it was very early on when I used to be a child actor. I know that's very new to some people. People don't know that. It was a very brief stint in my life. And I remember a manager telling me that I was too curvy. For a 13-year-old, and I didn't look 13. And so I had missed out on an opportunity for a Disney thing. And it just, it broke my heart. It broke my dad's heart. And then from then on, I always felt like I was not eating. I should not eat. I should be skinnier. I should look like a little girl. It was just interesting. I just didn't. I had boobs, It's so weird, the things that you do to, the thoughts that go on in your head. And it's so funny because these are the embedded limiting beliefs that are stuck with us, scarred within the body. And so subconsciously, I have no idea. I'm basing every single decision based off of that one simple 5-minute conversation with a woman who doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. And she doesn't even realize how much she's harming children by telling them, you should only eat brown rice and dried fruit, which is terrible for you and a terrible idea. And she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's not a nutritionist. She was a quote unquote manager. And you know what? Love to her, because at the end of the day, there's no anger. It's more just like, man, I needed that. I always look at everything like, if you listen to my last podcast episode, it was all about the ebbs being the gift. You know, the shitty aspects that happen, the shitty experiences that happen in our lives being the gift. And how can we just be totally like looking at it from this perspective? I know that in hindsight, whether that be 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, that I know that in hindsight, that thing is going to be something I'm going to be really grateful for. And, you know, to be honest, it was one of those things where, yeah, I wouldn't be the woman I am today without knowing that and without having to really go through the thick of healing those body image issues, which I still am continuing to do. But I also have help. So it's not just myself in my routines doing these things. It is also, I know where I need help. I know where I need accountability. I know where I need a little guidance, a little perspective shift. That's all mentoring is. That's why I invest so much money in mentorship, in outside sources to help me, because I'm not meant to be the jack of all trades. I'm only meant to do what I'm really, really good at. I'm really, really good at tattooing. I'm really, really good at coaching and mentoring. Those are the two things that light me the fuck up, and I only want to continue to get better at those two things. But if I have to take my attention away from doing those two things to try and do all of the other things, then I'm going to have a hard time, and my attention split too thin. And of course, the better I get at my creativity, or the better I get at my mentoring, it's going to be very slowly and linearly. Whereas if I were to be able to focus all of my attention on those two areas, then obviously I'm going to quantum leap. So that's why I get help. So when I started first doing meditation, that happened with my spiritual counselor. When I started doing mentoring, I had mentorships. I still continue. I have not gone without a mentorship for 3 years. I literally just spent another $30,000 on more mentorship yesterday, which was a crazy thing. And I can't believe I just did that, but it was literally like, I'm so excited. And so it's just a constant evolution. And I know that I want to see myself evolve. And so what do? I invest, and I take the change, and I know that I can handle the change. And I know that I got to be brave to walk myself through the change, but it's also brave to say that I need help. It's also brave to ask for help. You know, because when we're putting skin in the game, like money, then we know we better fucking, we better nut up or shut up. You know, stop complaining about your life if you're not going to go and get help, you know? And so anyway, so with all of these things like happening in my life, where it's like, you know, we've had like exercise was like a big part of my discipline. That was a big part of like me avoidance of pain. And so over time, as I realized this was becoming an avoidance of pain, I realized that the exercise wasn't going to cure me. I would utilize exercise to get rid of my anxiety. I would utilize exercise to numb out. I would use exercise to, you know, basically tell my body that she wasn't good enough and she better hurry up and push harder. And, you know, all of those things got me to where I am now. So I don't hate on, you know, that woman or all the things, all the, you know, the drug abuse, the eating disorders, all of the things that got me here, because I've realized now, being a trauma-informed specialist, now being a mentor and a coach based on embodiment and somatic healing, I would not have such a passion for it if I haven't gone through all of those things in order to be here today. And so that's what makes our passion so potent, is because there's a huge reason why we're doing the thing, whether it be subconsciously in avoidance of pain, or consciously now doing it where I'm like, holy shit, I'm chasing a high. Like, that's where I'm at. I'm always on high, because not only am I healing myself, and it feels so good to peel back the layers and get to know me on a deeper level, to where I'm so connected to source wisdom, and now I'm just able to really hold so much capacity of energy of other people so that they can also feel the medicine that also runs and courses through my veins, essentially, I show up better when I start to heal those parts of myself. So when exercise being my most disciplined aspect, I realized that I was only using it, I was using it for so many other aspects. And I realized that, yes, exercise definitely did alleviate stress, anxiety, and things like this, but it only put like a Band-Aid on it. And so that's where meditation came in. And I was like, oh gosh, this was hard. Again, I got a meditation. I had a spiritual counselor meditation. And she held me accountable to be doing an hour of meditation every single day for 30 days. And I was only doing maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of guided meditation up until that point. And so when she asked me to do an hour, it was really freaking hard. But when I knew someone was watching me, I was like, okay, she's going to ask. And not like, she's not like a military mom. She's not like one of those people that's going to be like, you better do it or else. It's more like, do it if you want. Don't do it if you don't want. But you understand the benefits that could come from it. And instead, like, she could tell me all the things that could happen, but I had to create my own evidence for it. You have to create your own evidence for everything that you do. Every penny that you spend on a program, you can't just expect that evidence is going to just show up for you. You've got to put in the work. You've got to create your own evidence. You've got to go into things knowing that it's going to take some blood, sweat, and tears for you to start seeing the momentum. I like to look at it from like a snowball effect. You're building a snowball, and you're building and you're building, and you got to get it packed in. You got to make it just right. You got to make it round enough so that it can start rolling and creating momentum on its own and growing and growing and growing. But it takes time to build that snowball, and that's what we're doing whenever we're trying to get into a routine. And so meditation came in, and that was like really tough. So I did need some guidance on that one. And then once I got to that momentum and that snowball started building, I was like, oh my gosh, I crave this. Like, I crave this connection with source wisdom. And then I started to see all of these different things happening. Like, if you've listened to my other podcast episodes, where all of a sudden my creativity got better. I didn't take a course. I didn't do anything. I was just like, oh my gosh, my creativity is growing because I'm more at ease. I'm more relaxed. My nervous system is straight. I no longer want to drink. I no longer want to smoke. All of a sudden I stopped smoking. I was like, wow, this is so easy. Everything I was doing in the direction of desire. I was doing it in the direction of desire. I was like, wow, I desire to feel more like this always. Anything that doesn't feel like this is out. Weed, out. Drinking, out. And don't get me wrong, like, I still smoke sometimes, and I still drink sometimes, but not in a way to escape my reality. If I'm doing it because I want to, and because I want to enhance the reality I'm already in. But it never goes overboard. It's never overdone. Same thing with eating. I've gotten to a point where I used to hate cooking, and I'm like, let me get to a point where I love cooking because I know what I'm doing. I'm nourishing my body, the vessel. I'm nourishing this vessel because I'm looking at it from a longevity perspective. I want to be able to do as much as possible until I'm 90 to 100. I want to be able to tattoo until I'm 100 if I choose to do so. I want to, I want to be here and present with people. And so I want to nourish my mind, and I want to constantly be peeling back the layers of my mind, and of like my body, like my emotional body as well, so that I can get more connection to my spirit, to spirit wisdom, to source wisdom, to universe, to God. And in these routines that I have, it's like, that's my why. I feel good. Most people want to be happy. They're like, I just want to be happy. Well, you get to choose that. Happiness is not the goal. Fulfillment is the goal. Freedom is the goal. And the only time we can get to those things is in the present moment, is realizing how good you got it. The fact that you can see, you can hear, you can speak, the fact that you have, a roof over your head, food in your belly, the fact that you can tattoo, the fact that you can draw art, the fact that you make money doing what you love, like the fact that you can just say, hey, my back aches a little less today. Like those little tiny things that we have, little tiny things. And if you want to fight me on those things and you're like, I don't have any of those things, well, I don't know how you're listening to this podcast then. But it's like, those are things that we should just be in awe of every single day. And yet we get so caught up in the things that we don't have and continue to perpetuate a reality of things we don't have because we just expect them to show up and give us evidence that things can happen before we start making changes. But you see, the change has to start now. I've been running since I was 12, every morning with my father, and I'm really happy that I started that routine. I'm really happy that I started that, that I have that under my belt, because it always caused me to want to run more. Now, the reasons why I was running when I was younger are very different from the reasons why I run now. Obviously, like I said, I was in avoidance of pain. I was in avoidance of being mean to myself, of looking myself in the mirror and saying I didn't look good in a bathing suit, or, one other reason or not. I was so in avoidance of pain at that time that now it's like, oh my God, I work out because it feels good in my body. It feels good to push my body. And I thank her every single day for letting me push her in the way that I do. I mean, today I'm walking around like I just rode a horse all day because I did leg day the other day, and I was just like, man, I pushed really hard. And the only thing I'm like, I can barely walk. And I'm just like, I love you, body. Thank you so much for letting me do that to you. You really worked hard yesterday. Those lunges sucked. Instead of being like, the way I used to self-talk, it's like, oh, you better do this or you're just going to get fat, or you're not going to look good in that bathing suit, or your boyfriend's going to leave you. These were the kinds of self-talk that I don't even realize it's happening in my mind, but they're just the things that spurn me forward. And so now it's different because I've decided to create a foundation of self-care and self-love routines in order for me to really have best day of my life energy, even through the shittiest of shit things that happen. This year is a fucking year of shedding. It is a year of releasing and shedding all of the things that are not you and that do not belong next to you. It's like cutting cords, but literally shaving off. I literally am shaving off pieces of my skin, it feels like. And it's hard and it hurts. And it was definitely things that I'm like, man, do I really have to go through this? A lot of things are happening in my life where I'm like, wow, friends of mine are stealing money from me. And I have people I'm in, had to get legal, basically I had to get lawyers for, I had to get legal help with, and, having to outsource like that and those kinds of things, it just feels so heavy. But if it wasn't for my routines, if it wasn't for the practices that I have on a daily basis that help me through these things, then I would not be able to hold the capacity that I hold. I could not have 3 different businesses. I could not be opening up a brand new tattoo shop. I could not be in the mood to even do podcasts or post on social media because I would just be so drained and weighed down by all of the things that are happening outside of me. And if I would give my power away to that, then of course I can't hold it. That's why for some people, when they see what I do, they're like, that seems like so much. But for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, more. What else? I'm open. And then I'm also willing to fall on my face and try again and do something different and know when I've made a mistake or when I need help or when I might need something else. So it's just these routines that really allow me to be really fucking honest and radically open and taking responsibility for everything that's going on in my life. I heard a quote the other day that said, it's like your dreams are your reality in an excuse-free world. And that's where it's at. It's like, quit making the fucking excuses as to the reasons why you can or cannot do something. You don't have discipline. You don't have devotion or whatever. I don't even get that. I don't understand it. Let me give you some tough love right now. That all that shit is just boring. It's yawn. It's the yawn emoji. Every time someone gives me an excuse as to why they can't do something, I'm just I'm over here being like, I love you, but let me just yawn in your face because this is boring. You're not boring. You're fucking unique and you're amazing, and I want you to show up as such. Nobody's gonna know the depths of who you are, the truest of true soulmate clients, the truest of true community that you desire in your business, in your life, can never be known until you can start taking radical responsibility for yourself and for your actions. Even when things are happening, when you feel like things are happening to you, there's always something to look at. Like, for instance, this whole thing with the lawyer and my landlord and everything. You know, she came back with an email basically trying to villainize me, so that she could justify the things she's justifying over. And this revved my engine. But then I realized after I sat with it, before I responded, I was like, you know what? Where am I villainizing her? And I could find several ways I was doing it to justify why I could be so angry. And it was such an interesting thing to see myself in the things that are happening around me. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to alleviate the responsibility or the fact the way that she's acting. But I'm also going to take some responsibility for it as well. Like, I take part and I take ownership of my part of this relationship and responsibility. And I'm not going to react in a way that is just going to feel out of alignment later down the road. So I'm going to respond, and I'm going to slow down, and I'm going to have a little compassion, even though I can't quite forgive just yet. And I'm honest with myself in that, and I'm allowed to be angry. Like, I'm allowed to fucking rage. I let myself rage in that moment. I was like, okay, let's turn on the fire. You know, I've got a little energy inside my body. I'm not going to dumb it down or try and say, what's the best way to respond to this? No, there's a Kali crazy goddess inside of me, in my womb, breathing fire breath because she's pissed. And I'm okay with that. Like, be pissed. Be pissed at a situation. Be totally pissed. Allow the feeling to be felt. But once that is done, sit with it, alchemize it, integrate it, allow it to be in the body instead of trying to get rid of it and poison other people. That's not the point. I can be angry, but I don't have to spew fucking poison at everybody else or ruin everybody else's day or say something mean to her because I feel like vindicated for that reason. No, and these are why these practices are so important to me, because I know that I'm a better responder and I'm less reactive when I have these practices in place. Again, another reason, another why. I have so many whys for the reasons why I do what I do. And I can't even tell you how much it's not only helped me just in life and more peace in my body, but financially, of course, because now that I've healed so many parts of myself, I can hold more, I can understand more, I can take on more. Like the fact that I just took on this other mentorship, I already have a mentor, a business mentor. This is an operational, structural manager type thing, and it's going to help me understand like how I can really, really scale my business to 7 figures and beyond. And I need the operational aspects and help. So I need to redo my foundation. So again, here comes the 2023 of quantum restructuring. I said that at the beginning of this year, and now I'm realizing I'm restructuring not only myself, my body, mind, and spirit, but also my business. When I thought that I was, with the transition of the new shop to the old shop, with people in my life, from really holding a lot of boundaries and no longer feeling like it's not nice of me not to at least give people the benefit of the doubt. For me, it's like, no, I have a strong boundary. I can still love you, but I have a strong boundary. And these are, and we have new structures in place. So obviously nobody has the need to feel like they can steal from me, And so it's just one of those things where I'm like, there's so much restructuring going on in my business. I am tired. Don't get me wrong. I feel good. I feel blessed, but I'm allowed to be tired. I can hold the duality of both. I can be super excited and be super angry, and I can be super grateful and tired and, just ooey gooey, juicy, flirty, loving. And, it's just like, I just enjoy being a fucking woman, we're taught not to feel all these things, and I'm like, say fuck it. Fuck it. I know how to be adaptive in my emotions. I have emotional maturity. I have emotional mastery in all of this. So that's why I can do all these things. And no, I don't have to pop off or pull out my hoops and beat someone up, or, you know, do something conniving or manipulative or whatever. Like, the raw feelings in the body are so perfect and beautiful. It's just the part where we take them to another level of ego driven. It's like, let my ego take over the bus, you know? No, I'm driving the bus. My highest self is driving the bus. The ego can sit in the back. The ego has a say. He could say something. He could tell me, like, we should do this. I might listen. I might laugh about it. I might be like, you're right. I might type it down and then delete it again. You know what I mean? I know how a lot of people do that. I actually don't do that anymore. But, you know what I'm saying. So, routines. So these routines, find your why. Find your why. And if none of my whys make your whys, then find your own whys. Like, if none of my whys really spurn you to be like, holy shit, it does all that? This is what you do and it does all that? Damn. So, morning routines. I wake up at 4:10 most mornings. I would say probably 5 days out of the week, 5 to 6 days out of the week. I wake up at 4:10. Why? I have a dog now. I used to wake up at 6:30. I went to 5:30, and then I went to 4:30, and then I went to 4:10. The reason is I'm a morning person. And if you're not a morning person, you can train yourself to be one. I highly recommend it. I don't say you have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the freaking morning. I'm crazy. But anywhere from like 6 to 6:30, I think is like a really beautiful time. You're still getting up when it's a little bit dark. And then you have a little quiet time, especially if you have kids or something like that. But it's always good to get up early in the mornings. Dr. Joe Dispenza always says to get your meditation done right when you wake up, because your subconscious mind you're still in theta brainwave state. So you're still in the dream state of being. And when you're in the dream state of being, you're more likely to still reprogram your subconscious mind, because you can't reprogram your subconscious mind, which, by the way, we teach a lot of that in InkSpired Academy. If you haven't listened to my last IG live, I highly recommend it. And about InkSpired Academy, we're actually probably starting today. I'm pretty sure that this episode's going to be coming out on the day it starts, and you still have time to get in. So if you do it, get on it. And if you're on this podcast episode, then I'll still honor the early bird for you. If you decide, like, hey, Reese, I got the early bird notice on the thing, I'll honor it for you. So, like, reprogramming your subconscious mind can't do it with your conscious mind. It just doesn't work like that. I could tell myself, I'm a millionaire, but if there's deep down, if there's deep dredges of shadows and limiting beliefs in my body that are telling me, actually, Reese, when you were a kid, your parents did this, and this with money, and they used to hoard money, and they always thought that you had to work super hard for money, so there's no way that you're just, like, out of nowhere a millionaire. You just don't actually believe you could be one. If that's true for me in my body, yet I'm saying in my conscious mind that I'm going to be a millionaire, but I don't actually believe that subconsciously, I could tell myself all day long, but my subconscious mind doesn't hear it. My subconscious is made up of all the experiences and trauma that I've ever had since the moment I was born. Since the moment I put my Asian little cone head out of my mama's vagina. Like, that's when we start having trauma. And even before then, because there's generational trauma. There's all the trauma that came from my family, came from being a woman, came from all of the things that I'm taking with me into this particular human experience, this particular one that I'm in, this vessel, who I am, all that kind of stuff. So I am taking that all on with me right now. So how can I I can't go into the subconscious mind unless I practice. So Dr. Joe Dispenza says, do your meditation right when you wake up. You're still in your theta. It's the easiest way to do it. However, for me, I go straight to the gym. Because the moment I start trying to get into, like, meditation, there's no way you're going to get my butt to the gym. Like, I just need to get up and go. I'm the kind of person that's like, what I used to do was have my clothes set up the night before and my water all set. I have to take my dog out to pee, so I'll put my shoes on outside so that it's kind of cold and it wakes my ass up. Leave my dog in here, get straight in the car, and go. Like, I'm at the gym by 4:30, because if I try to allow my conscious mind and my ego to start saying, oh, let's go tomorrow and stuff like that, I might listen. But if I make the decision the night before that I'm going, then I'm going. So it's like, if I make the decision to go to the gym the night before and I wake up and my ego is like, let's not go, I'm too tired, I go. But if I always try to make the decision on what's happening the next morning or the next day the night before, because then I can stick with that. If I have no plan, if I have no game plan, I have no direction. And that goes with everything. If you have no game plan, you have no direction. If you're not clear on where it is you're trying to go, you have zero direction and you have no finish line. If there's no direction, there's no finish line, then there's no reason for you to keep up with a routine. It makes no sense. It's like, why do I want to keep up with a routine? And I love feminine energy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm definitely siding with the masculine. I'm a Virgo, definitely grounded. I'm a Cancer as well, so I like the water. But, you know, I'm not too much of the, like, I love feminine energy when I know that I need a little self-compassion, especially when I'm, like, overdoing it. I'm like, oh, let me bring it back. Let me not force my masculine to be, you know, to be wounded in this moment because I'm overdoing things because I feel like it's going to make me more worthy. And that's why, and when I notice that part of me, that's where my feminine comes in to give my masculine a little love, give me a little love, and that's when I normally will be like, okay, I'm not going to go to the gym tomorrow. But for the most part, my weeks look like this. I go 3 days to the gym, I run 2 days, and I go to yoga anywhere from 2 to 3 days. So I know normally on Mondays and Wednesdays I go to yoga if I can, because those are my 2 days off. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays I go to the gym because those are the days that I go tattoo. So I like to go to the gym before I tattoo. And then on the other days I run. And so Sundays are normally my days off. I like a 45-minute yoga session, and that's it. So I do like relaxing movement on my Sundays, but normally I'm very methodical in where I'm doing everything, because also I have a dog, so he has to get walked. And so I'm trying to do everything like timely manner. So if I'm going to the gym, or if I'm running, or if I'm getting up early, sometimes I'll sleep until 5 so that I can walk the dog at 5 instead of going to the gym. But so it's either gym or run or walking the dog early. So I'm always up early no matter what. But every day by the time it hits about between 6 and 6:30, when I get back from the gym and I shower, I meditate. I meditate for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Lately, it's been an hour. I've been needing the hour. And the more that shit is hitting the fan, the longer I want to be in there. Because the longer I love being in the quantum, I love being in my body, I love alchemizing and integrating. I get more rest in meditation than I do when I sleep. It is the funniest thing. I like heal faster in meditation than I do when I sleep. And it's because I have gotten so good at meditation to slow my brain down enough to know that I'm in delta and still awake. Delta is deep sleep. But I know that I'm still awake, and I still can create the intention of healing my body, and of not only healing my body of like aches and pains, as far as like muscle aches, muscle pains, nerve aches, nerve pains, but also healing my body emotionally from trauma. So anything that's going on in my life that I'm like, wow, this is giving me a lot of anxiety, and instead of trying to like, no, I don't want any anxiety, it's like more like, let me just feel this anxiety in my whole body and just allow it to expand inside of me. And it's almost like, I don't know if you guys are X-Men nerds like me, but it's almost like the comic book X-Men character Phoenix, where her whole body just goes into flames. And that's what I feel like I'm doing when I'm allowing my entire body to take over the emotion, the raw emotion of what's happening in my body, so that I can just be like, whoosh, and just allow it to just like integrate inside of me, you know? And it's like, she always had an issue with her fire, like her power, because she couldn't control it, but she was trying so hard to control it, and it was like, just let it out. And then when it consumed her, she was able to kind of just like breathe a sigh of relief. And that's the thing. We're always trying to control everything that's going on outside of us. And the moment that we just allow to surrender, I have faith that things are going to work out. I'm mad, but I have faith. I can feel sad, but I have faith. I can feel heartbroken, but I have fucking faith. I surrender. I'm like, I don't need to control this. I can feel this feeling. I can't control the outside world. I can't control what's going on. I can only control what's going on inside of me. And I can control on how I look at life. And if I decide I want to look at life as, woe is me, this guy stole money from me, this lady's stealing money from me, this landlord's trying to sue me, this, oh my God, these people keep canceling, which is true. I've had a lot of cancellations lately, you know? And it's like this, that, I can count on fucking 2 hands and two feet all the things that are really like, I could be like, oh my, look at how many things are going wrong. Something's wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Everything's going wrong. But then I can also count on 2 hands and 2 feet how many things are going so right. And then also just realizing that, like, let it go, Reese. Like, let it go. I can't control the outside world. I can control what's going on inside. Okay? And so that's where meditation is just like, it's like you have to have it. The first time, most people want to give it up when they're having a hard time. And it's like, no, that's the time you need it the most. Like, learn to sit. So then there's meditation. And then after meditation that's when I start working. So I don't consume, I don't go on the internet, I don't do any Instagram, I don't do social media, I don't do emails, I don't do text messages, I don't do anything. The only thing I do on my phone is play music so that I can work out my little booty off. So that's it. And if you do not consume anything before you create something, then you're more authentically creative. Authentically creative. Hear me. Because you're not being influenced by everybody else and what everybody else is doing. You are only influenced by your routine and by who you are. So yes, I went and got exercise, so I feel fucking good. I got endorphins. I got my meditation on, you know, did my meditation. You know, actually, after the gym, I go walk my dog. I take a shower. I do a meditation. So those are those things I do in order every morning, pretty much every morning, unless it's a run or a gym day. But those things, that's what I do. And then I create. So I'm like, cool, I love to create content. I'm a content creator. I love creating content. I think it's super fun. I think it's super creative. I don't allow content to get into my headspace. I don't allow it to make it mean anything about me. That's taken a lot of inner work. Again, everything I do in InkSpired Academy. A lot of emotional maturity, a lot of subconscious reprogramming. And then we get into the social media and we fucking kill it. We fucking create massive movements. Like, I wake up and I love making movements. I'm like, what can I make today, bitches? Because I got a high. I got a routine that keeps me high. Even on days when my season is like not there. Even on days when I'm like, I'm on my period. I'm on my moon. I'm on my bleed, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, you know, like, I'm like, okay, it's cool. Like, I still feel good. And it doesn't, good is so broad. It could be unhappy good. It could be tired, deliciously lazy good. It could be flirty good. It could be sexy good. It could be like all these different types of good. Like, I'm just good. You know, no matter what, I'm good. If I'm crying and I'm sad, I'm good. Like, crying is a release of energy. Yawning is a release of energy. Sweating, farting, whatever, burping, whatever it is. Like, I don't look at anything as wrong or right. I'm no longer that human anymore. That's a really weird thing to say, but I'm not. I'm no longer third dimensional human anymore. I'm not that. I just don't fall prey to the third dimension so much. Don't get me wrong. I'm a human having a human experience. I still do. But I become really aware of it really, really fast. And again, that's where my routines come in. Meditation, the best thing that's ever happened to me in the whole world. In the whole world. So we have those routines, okay? Exercise, meditation, create before you consume. So I create my content before I consume. Then I go to work if I'm tattooing, or I take my meetings on the days that I'm not tattooing. That's how I roll. Now, even if you decide, I'm not a morning person, Reese, that one's too hard. Okay, I got you. So your night routine, the hour before bed, scientifically proven, is the most important hour that you have so that your next day could be the best day of your life energy kind of day. Science proven. Look it up. Google it. I don't know why I thought of Edward Cullen when he said that. Because like, Google it. To my twihards out there. Yes, I like Twilight. Okay, so the hour before bed. Now, this is very important. The first thing I want you to do is to put your phone away and turn off the fucking television. The blue light fucks with your sleep. It will fuck with your sleep. You will not get good sleep. Your brain is still moving and you don't even fall into theta. It's like weird. You're like awake. And so you're not even a rested sleep. And you don't even get to play with the subconscious mind. You don't get to dream. And it's so good. So I say first thing you do is 1 hour before bed, turn everything off. That's it. I am desperately trying to get Kayla to do this. I know she's listening to this podcast episode because she's the one who edits them. So Kayla. Okay, so 1 hour before bed, turn off everything. Number 2, I like to read. I do like to read before bed. I think it's like one of the reasons why I've been able to finish 12 books this year so far. I have read a lot of books this year. I even think that I kind of need to like slow down because I don't think I can retain all the knowledge that I'm like have going in, that I'm consuming. And so, but I do love to read before bed. If that's not something you do, then I wouldn't recommend it. But the routine part of it is that I like to turn off everything. For my body, I like to put my legs up the wall. So I'm leaning back, my back is on the mattress, and my legs are up the wall. And the reason why we do this is because as people that sit all day long, our sciatic and our lower spine has so much pressure and tension that are literally grinding our joints together as we are bent over, holding ourselves up when we're tattooing, especially if you're a tattooer. And this goes for everybody. Just by standing all day or sitting all day, this helps alleviate sciatic tension and lower back tension. So what you're doing is you're giving your legs a rest, and as that blood rushes all the way down your legs and into your body, you're literally pumping new blood into all those parts, which is basically like putting oil on a squeaky door. Okay? So it's literally putting oil on a squeaky door. You're like, I got a squeaky door. Let me put some oil in there. And every day that you do this is like putting money in the piggy bank for your back relief. Your back is going to thank you in 10, 20, 30 years. Plus it'll thank you tomorrow. I'm telling you, I used to have sciatic pain in my left leg every day. And I didn't know how to alleviate it. And my acupuncturist, again, invest in yourself. Okay, invest in your body. Acupuncture. My acupuncturist was like, oh, put your legs up a wall. Boom. And you do that every night. 10 minutes tops. That's it. You don't even need to do it for long. And you know what's funny is that I do 2 things at once. So I feed 2 birds with 1 stone. I have my legs up, which, like I said, alleviates lower back pain, sciatic pain. You're lubing up your joints. Okay? Number 2 is while I am in that position, I put a pillow on my stomach and I write in my journal. So you see, I write 3 wins of the day. 3 wins or 3 things I'm grateful for. I like to keep it quick and simple because some nights I don't feel like journaling a lot. And so I'm like, grateful for cat, dog, food. I could be that really quick with it. Well, normally I do a lot more. Like once I get writing, I like it. So while I'm upside down like that and I'm waiting 10 minutes, I'm like, cool, I can get some journaling done at the same time. So I write 3 wins, and then I write 3 wins of what I would love to see I do tomorrow. I'm like, what would be 3 wins that I could do tomorrow that would really like make the day perfect? And just 3. Any more than 3, it's too much. It's too much of a to-do list. That now it's just busy work. What are the 3 main things that you could do tomorrow that would just make your whole day? And it could be wake up early, go to the gym, and meditate. 3 things. I do those 3 things, I fucking ruled the day. Period. That's how I look at it. And then if I don't get it done, well, it's okay. No big deal. We try it again the next day. But the thing is what you're doing is you're setting an intention for what's to happen tomorrow. And when we set that intention and we go to bed, the intention is in our conscious brain, but once we no longer have an ego or an analytical mind, basically stopping it from sliding all the way down to the subconscious part of your body to reignite that intention. So when you wake up, you're like, wow, I feel really good because I literally just upped my frequency by saying how grateful I am for the 3 things. Upped the ante for what I'm going to do with the day because I already know that I have 3 things that I really want to do today. Something can be like, I just go visit my mom, you know? I don't ever make the time to do that sometimes. And I'm like, I'm going to go visit my mom. And you know what's funny is that I always do every time I say I'm going to do it because I'm a woman of my motherfucking word. Be a person of your word. Be a person of your word. Say you do something and do it. Don't half-ass it, do it all the way. Do it till it's done. Put both feet in. Not just some of the time, all of the time. Full send. And then when you start to feel like it's not the right choice, then stop. And realign. I love running as fast as I can in one direction and then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, this ain't the direction anymore. That's okay. Skirt. Then I start to look around and jog and start to build momentum. Oh, yep, that street, that's the one. So we sprint down that street and then change. That's all we're doing. Except I don't want to walk there. I don't want to crawl there. I want to fucking get there. Like I love the journey, but I like running during the journey. I'm like, let's go. You know, like it's funny. The other day, someone was like, wow, you look like you're 25. And I'm like, I'm about to be 36. You know, it's like, yeah, I work really hard for this body, but I'm like, I'm running, you know, I'm doing it because I love it. And I love feeling good. I love feeling good more now because I'm starting to feel all the aches and pains now, you know, your body will thank you for it if you just continue to pay attention. So you have your legs up the wall, you have your journaling, you can read after those 2 things. I like to read. And then oftentimes, I like to listen to a meditation, guided sleep meditation. I like to listen to abundance meditations because they just make me feel so like I am just so wealthy, rich on the inside and I'm the outside, you know? So I'm just like that kind of person that's like, I love money, like plain and simple. I love money. It's so funny to say that out loud. Sometimes I cringe. I'm like, you're spiritual. You're not supposed to love money that much, you know? But it's like, no, I love money. Money in the hands of good people are only going to do more good things and they're just going to spread it out better. You know what I mean? So I love money and I want to make more of it. And I want to give it, I want to be generous with it. I want to be generous with all the things that I have. I know me well enough to know that I don't hoard money. I mean, I literally just spent 30 grand on something that I have no idea if it's going to work or not. And it looks like a lot of fucking work. And I'm just like, fuck. But it felt good in my body. It was the exciting, scary feeling in my body. And when it's exciting and scary, that's a green light to go. And I say that to a lot of people, and I say that on my podcast, but I am also a huge advocate. I literally practice what I preach. I embody it. It is me. Everything I say here is something I have been through more than once, most likely. And so it's just like I am who I am being. So it's not that I have to explain myself, I express it, but just being me. I am just me. I love money. I'm spiritual. You know, money is just energy. Routines are everything. They're everything to me. And I've gotten so good at my routines that when I'm out of them, I'm like, cool. But then I miss them. Even on vacation, I'm like, oh, I could use a run, so I'll go on one. Like, that's my favorite thing in the whole world. It's just like, it's a way of life. It's not something I'm going to try out for 30 days and just do a challenge and then give up. Like, no, it's a way of fucking life. And when you feel the feelings within the body that feel so good after you do them, remember them. That's the whole point, is to remember. The thing is that we only remember the pain. We never remember the good. That's why it's like saying gratitude at the end of the night is so important. It is so freaking important to your overall well-being, because we automatically look for what's going wrong because we want to solve the issue on how to make it better or how to avoid it. And that's just that's human nature. That's just human nature in us. So there's nothing wrong with thinking, like, always looking for what's wrong. But when we take the time to look at what's right, that's when we start to really reprogram the way that we do things, our habits, our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings. We start to take a bird's eye view of all of these things and not take so much stock or truth in them, and that we know, wow, if I'm feeling this, it doesn't mean it has to overtake my entire day. You know, if I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, that's only that minute. After my gym time might be a different thing. You know? Okay, so let's get back to it before I go on a tangent. Turn off all the things. Put your legs up off the wall. Write in your journal 3 wins and 3 wins you want to have tomorrow. 3 grateful things and 3 wins that you want to have the next day. If you read. And then I like a guided abundance meditation because I love putting in my subconscious mind anything that might alleviate any limiting beliefs around money. I just grew up in a family where money was always tight and hard, and one parent was really, really good with money. Another parent hoarded her money, obviously. I'm talking about my mother. But the other one also, he followed his dreams so much and made everybody feel very, not secure, not stable. It didn't feel stable. And although it didn't feel stable for everybody over there on the other side, and everybody, had a lot of opinions about that. And so as a young age, I took on those opinions and I was like, okay, what my dad's doing is not right. Now later on in life, I'm like, God, my dad just was trying to follow his heart. Like, good for him. Like, thank you for putting that in my body, because I don't think I'd be here. I don't think I'd be in this position without that innate desire to just chase what I fucking want instead of avoid feeling scared or fear or whatever else. Like, and that comes with mastery. That comes with doing brave things over and over and over again and becoming confident in that. It's not something I was just born with. Yes, I saw it in my dad and I got lucky like that, but it doesn't mean that just because you didn't have someone like that in your life doesn't mean you can't be the one to be that person in your life. So do those things. If you can't do the morning runs, do the night ones. The night ones are going to be just as important, even more so, because you are literally setting up the trajectory of your day. Routines are just devotional acts of practice toward your body, your mind, and your spirit. What is more important than your peace and your fulfillment every single day? Your job? Cool. That's going to bring you some sort of fulfillment. But if you put everything in your job, let's say I didn't have hands tomorrow. Let's say I didn't have feet to run anymore. All of the practices I have are going to the practices, the routines that I have are the ones that are going to help me through those things. Because I'm not my job. I'm not my routines either. I'm not my mind, I'm not my body. I'm just like the soul within. And if all of these things that I do on a daily basis are really allowing me to uncover and unblock the connection to source, then it doesn't matter what happens to my body. It doesn't matter what happens to my mind. I always know that I'm going to be fulfilled in some kind of capacity. And I know that's a really morbid thing to think about, but I have thought about the fact that it's like when I used to run, well, based off of only like trying to alleviate anxiety or numb out, it's like, what if I didn't have feet anymore? What would I do? So then I took on meditation. And I was like, okay, meditation's really healthy and helpful. But then it was like, okay, getting quiet's wonderful. But it's like, then I took on prayer. It's like intention. When I created intention, it's like intention is sending messages to the universe, and meditation, like prayer is sending messages to the universe, and meditation is opening yourself up to communication from the universe. So I had to get good at both things. But in order for me to clear the connection, I had to do somatic healing. So there's like different types of meditations that I needed to do. And so learning all of these different things is allowing me to realize that, like, I am so grateful for the body that I have, and no longer hating on her because she doesn't look a certain way. She doesn't look like the perfect thing that I've been trained to think is perfect, you know? And also with my job, it's like, I'm not only a really good tattoo artist, it's okay to start something new. Being a coach it has its ups and downs. Like, I'm really good, but at the same time, it's starting over. It's like starting over in a brand new thing. And it feels like a beginner again. And it's like, there's a lot of times where I'm like, fuck this, I just want to do tattooing. Like, I'm good at this, it's easy. But it's like, no, but like, see, this is where I get to move myself in directions where it's uncomfortable, because I can get myself through it through the emotional mastery, and through the emotional maturity. These routines are ways of lives. It's a way of life, you know? Don't look at it as just a challenge. Maybe spurn yourself forward and look at it as a challenge for now, but then see how far you can take it just for fun. That's how I look at it. That's what I started doing. I was like, 30 days meditation just for fun. And then all of a sudden I was like, wow, I don't want to miss out on this. Oh, well, went off on a tangent on that one a little bit, but I love you guys so much for listening all the way through it if you've gotten to this point. And I would love to know what your routines are. Send me a DM through the Instagrams, you know, or send me a message via YouTube if you're watching it on the YouTube. Like, let me know what's the routine. What are you going to do next? What are you going to try to do? I would love to be the one to hold you accountable and be like, hey, okay, I want to hear in 30 days if you're still keeping up with it, you know? I love you so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I am on my way to Ibiza by the time you listen to this, so I will be in the air, and I'm so excited. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.